Hello everyone, this is Kuroda giving you now Game 3 in a series. Game 3 taking place here on Tidewater Glades. Both of these teams have taken one game, hence Game 3 in a best of 3. As we see the yellow and orc and humans player both spawning here on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the right side of the map, we have the human and the orc players once more. Now, BMDPS Cool did end up winning game 1, losing game 2, if you guys have been trying to keep track and follow me. Alright, let's go ahead and get that back into position there, as we see that we are still speed building on Altar of Kings. Now, I gotta say that games 1 and games 2, it really felt a lot more like unit compositions for the victory as opposed to very, very set strategies. Both of these teams have just been pretty much coming at or bringing to the table a very, very standard type of game and executing and playing very well. Now, hero compositions are going to be very key, as we now see an Archmage come out alongside a Blade Master. So it is going to be Archmage, Blade Master. We haven't seen that many fast expansion attempts either, and I don't believe we will see that this time around, as the expansions are rather far away. The expansions are either here or here, which are more than a hop, skip, and a jump in order to get into position. The only one that could really do it is the yellow human player if he decided to call over Militia. Archmage will be popping out here in just a second. Where is that first creep camp? Is it off over here? I do believe so. They could attempt to follow up with this particular creep camp there, as the Archmage is now wandering around. And are they perhaps going to take down these destructible rocks, or are they going to do a little bit of a share here? All right, this is a 4-4-2-2 creep camp. This is a rather easy creep camp. And nope, there is that green drake. All right, so the green drake already taking a lot of damage. That is not a good position for it, as the militia now trying to make its way over. Second water elemental has been dropped. Are we perhaps going to see some other units come into position here? The 4-4-2-2 creep camp. And what is going to be next there, as down it goes. It does give level 2 the Archmage. The Tome of Agility +2 has been left behind. Not altogether that useful, as the water elemental will get taken down here. So a little bit of a big surprise there, as the Blade Master now wandering around. Potion of Invulnerability was picked up by BMDPS Cool, and I think that there was an actual item that was useful, or something was actually crept out here, but it was stolen by this Blade Master. Blade Master didn't get the experience kill though, as we now see that he does gain a little bit of experience there. All right, yellow Blade Master did get the experience, did buy Circlet of Nobility and Dust of Appearance, as both sides are now just moving out. All right, Archmage still wandering around. We do also have a healing salve as well on that Archmage, so he may be able to put down a little bit of pressure, just getting to level 2, and you can see how important that Brilliance Aura actually is. Archmage, this particular Archmage also having Brilliance Aura as well, very important. Potion of Greater Mana has been dropped as well, so we could see early pressure coming in from both sides. All right, I'm not quite sure who got the experience there. I believe the Blade Master did not get the steal off, as the Archmage was able to get off a little bit of a steal there. Archmage now coming back over, the blue Archmage that is, to finish up what has been left behind. There is a tavern in the center of the shop. We may not see that being used in a human orc mirror match, just because tavern heroes aren't really used heavily by either human or orc players, especially not in this particular matchup. Both sides are still fighting out. Archmage and Blade Master still fighting out over here. Meanwhile, Archmage and Blade Master fighting off over here as well. And a river runs through this entire map, causing a little, just a little bit of confusion as to where everything actually is. The entire map looks very similar to each other, and because it is a human orc mirror match, trying to follow all the action is rather difficult. Archmage of the yellow team now sitting at level 2. Meanwhile, the Archmage of the blue team sitting at level 2, a little bit ahead, and we may see them creeping out the Goblin Laboratory camp here in just a second. And this would be a very, very high level creep camp to try and take down. There's the roar, as the Dire Wolf may finish off. There is some critical strikes coming in from that Dire Wolf, not level 3 on that Archmage, meaning not level 2 water elementals, and now the Archmage being forced to tank a little bit of that damage. Down it goes, and here we have Dark Troll and a Troll Berserker. Archmage may try to drop off another Water Elemental here in just a second, as the Archmage is now pushing away. A little bit of a nice tactic with all of these grunts to try and force the Archmage back into a corner and not actually creep jack this Archmage as he's trying to creep out the very, very difficult Goblin Laboratory Camp. Meanwhile, on the far side, you can see the Blade Master is actually going after a Dark Troll Berserker. The Troll Berserker may actually drop off a very nice item. Not 100% sure the reasoning behind this. There's a Claws of Attack +6, and I believe that is really what the Blade Master was looking for. All right, Dark Troll Warlord now getting surrounded here. Another Troll Berserker there. Going to be very, very easy pickings, as well as we now see the Archmage sitting at level 3 now come in and perhaps getting a little bit of damage. There is an Orc Burrow there, and that is a lot of low hit point footmen. That is not a good place to be if you're a footman there, as the footmen are now trying to push in. And I think the blue human player actually just made a grave miscalculation. A lot of very low hit point units, as we are now going to have some repairing going down. Shadowhunter now coming in, and it looks as though the footmen coming in from the north Archmage may be able to catch a couple of those footmen as they're trying to retreat. No, they are not. Double Water Elementals. We are just repairing with some more peons here, and it looks like it will stay up just enough. Archmage does get the experience there off of one of those Water Elementals. It looks like another Water Elemental may get taken down as well. Not quite giving level 3 to that Archmage. Blade Master now wandering off to the north here. We can see, Dark Troll Warlord. Some items may be utilized here. Is the Speed Scroll going to be used? That's going to be the problem. And what is happening here? Level 3 on that, or level 2 on that Blade Master, level 1, and Speed Scroll. Now, what was that? Picking up the item, taking the Health Stone, and wow, that was actually rather interesting there, dropping the item as the Blade Master is currently revealed. Continuing the fight, is it going to be able to get away? Yes, it will. The Blade Master, a very, very good thief, now slipping away once more. Archmage continuing to wander around. Footman still wandering around with that Archmage. Both sides not really coming out ahead. It looks as though this is a true mirror match. Archmage Blood Mage combination. Meanwhile, it is Blade Master Shadowhunter, Blade Master Shadowhunter here, as the Blood Mage is transferring all of that additional mana to that Archmage. Meanwhile, back over here, it looks like it is going to be an Archmage Paladin, so a little bit of a different hero choice, and we'll see who really comes out on top. The problem is that the Blood Mage can shut down the Paladin, even though the Paladin is a very strong hero. A Paladin without mana is essentially just a knight, and knights good and of themselves are not going to be that useful, just because also the Paladin rarely ever goes for that devotion aura to give additional armor to all of those friendly units. All right, here we have it. We can see an Arcane Vault is currently being constructed. Castle now being upgraded. All right, mortar teams are in the back here, and the mortar team is actually going to fire back and try to get some damage on all of these units. Militia may be called in. Raiders now trying to come back in as well. Footmen now trying to come in. There is a Scroll of Town portal coming in, and what is happening now? All right, finishing that upgrade, landing right up on top of so many of those footmen. Footmen now getting taken down. One footman goes down. Another footman may get taken down. Yes, there it goes, as the Blood Mage now siphoning the mana away from, I believe, that Shadowhunter. Both sides now fighting it out. Spellbreakers now are already in this composition. Units need to push their way out, as the peasants. Why are so many peasants down over here? Were they actually called to arms, as both sides are still battling? So far, a triple water elementals coming in from the blue Archmage team. That does mean that they are going to be out of mana, and that means that this push is not going to be nearly as effective until we get level 2 Brilliance Aura. Blood Mage needs to siphon some mana off from some new units there. There is that Shadowhunter coming across. More mortar teams coming in, and we also see a healing ward quickly getting taken down by the blade of the Blade Master. Blood Mage still continuing to fight both sides. Yellow versus blue. A very, very long battle here, as we now see even more peasants coming in. So perhaps peasants, everyone being drawn out into this battle. Peasants also being called over to pick apart the mortar teams. But you got to remember that militia are much more effective than peasants. Now we also see some knights joining in on the fight, as we see another healing ward getting taken down. All right, Anka Reincarnation siphoning mana into that Archmage once again. Shadowhunter now trying to get some damage off onto that Blood Mage, siphoning mana away from the Paladin, and the Paladin now going up against that Blood Mage. Who's going to come out on top? That Blood Mage is going to be able to slip away here, as all of these units are now trying to back away. The Knight is going to be the key counter unit, as Yellow with those Knights is going to be able to take down so many of these Spellbreakers. Knights dealing additional bonus damage to this medium armor. there goes another Blood Mage there, or sorry, another Spellbreaker there, as the water elementals are falling left and right, and now the yellow team has taken a distinctive lead. Meanwhile, off over here, Blood Mage, blue Blade Master now trying to get away. Is he going to be able to get away? Does use a healing salve, and now we see that the Shadow Hunter is trying to retreat and return back home. There you go. All the units are backing off. A Grunt does get taken down, but this is not going to be a very good fight. Blue Archmage, blue human player will be forced to back off and now try and re-heal. Meanwhile, are we going to perhaps see the healing ward, which was an item, be utilized here? No, you will not. And what we really needed to see was perhaps a stronger line coming in from the blue team to make sure that those healing wards were much more effective. The problem is that the yellow team's human player actually went for Knights and Mortars. This is not a common strategy. Knights and Mortars, very good units, but they are not actually used very often just because of how long it takes to get to them. We now see the yellow team has actually rushed it as an Elder Shaman and an Ursa Warrior. Now finding out, all right, it looks as though the Ursa Warrior will get surrounded here in just a moment. This Shaman trying to do perhaps a little bit of long distance attacking. Shadow Hunter coming in. We also see Rejuvenation coming in as well. Rather difficult to take out. Tome of Agility Healing Scroll. And Tome of Agility, who is it going to be given to? Most likely the Blade Master, but where is he? As we now see, Ethereal Form unable to make it back down over here. Tome of Agility still being left behind, and now the blue team may come in with a very nice flank, but the Knights are now going to be in the front, but there is a Flame Strike coming in from the back. All right, the Knights are now being forced into a situation that they do not want to be in. Shadow Hunter and just the burning ground as well. The Blade Master, is it going to perhaps pick up that Tome? They are actually in a very bad location. +2 permanent attack. A Shadow Hunter could actually gain a little bit of attack as well, as we now see the Archmage. What was that? Tome of Retraining, and this is going to be massive AoE. A brilliant strategy to counter the fact that he has Spellbreakers. That means that he can, in fact, Blizzard and Flame Strike on top of all of his units if push comes to shove. There is the Flame Strike. There's so many Grunts now trying to get away. This is not looking good at all. No healing, and yellow this time around in serious trouble. Both sides still fighting it out. Spirit, Healing Scroll now going across. We also see Scroll of Protection, more leveling coming in across multiple heroes. Blade Master does have a potion of lesser invulnerability. Mortar Team's now trying to fight back as another Blizzard comes in once more. All right, Mortar Team's now trying to fight back here. It looks as though it's going after some of those some of those priests, and now going perhaps after some of those other units that are lower on hit points. Shadow Hunter now trying to break the connection on that Siphon Mana, runs off to the very back here, but this fight is going so well for blue as the Mortar Teams are now exposed to the blade of the Blade Master, and they are definitely allergic to steel, getting taken down rather quickly. All right, Peons now coming in from the north. Blade Master of blue actually in a little bit too far and does get taken down. So there goes the blue Blade Master at level 3. Both sides still fighting. The Paladin does have Amulet of Spell Shield, so perhaps that's going to be a little bit of good news as the yellow team somehow irks out this fight. All right, more and more Blizzard now coming in. The Knights, however, with a lot of hit points and Animal War Training, may come out ahead as these Spellbreakers are falling apart again. Siphon Mana now coming in. Blade Master now trying to come back in again. Are they going to be able to fight off all of these units here? And the beautiful use of Peons. I don't know if you quite realize that even though there was not Spirit Link on those Peons, because the Peons were taking actual blizzards, it actually means that it deals reduced damage across the board. All right, Archmage down to 29 hit points, is able to escape. Wow, ever so barely. That's going to be very dangerous there. The Paladin needs to get off a Holy Light onto that Archmage in just a second. The Blade Master may try to be coming back over. There's some Siphon Mana as well, as the Archmage now making their way forward. The Paladin does have enough for a Holy Light, and the Archmage falls at level 3. Wow, that was a horrible, or level 4, a horrible loss there, as we still can see a continuing trek here. The Blade Master now going after the Blood Mage. Blood Mage may fall at level 2, trying to get healed back up. Shadow Hunter now will be able to do enough there as the slow now comes in. A little bit of a stutter from the slow, and now there's the Hex. We may have a surround. The Blade Master is in trouble trying to get away. That dove in way too far and now is able to get away. No, get ensnared. So wow, yellow really losing a lot there. Archmage and Blade Master both falling very needlessly. They stuck around in that fight to make that fight beneficial for them, but then ended up chasing way too far, and blue now has the advantage. That was a crazy, crazy battle. Both sides just fighting, and at first it really looked like the Archmage and the Blood Mage with their flame strikes were gonna deal enough damage, and after that, and it really looked like there was a really strong advantage. Then the Knights were able to start picking apart the Spellbreakers. Knights do have 5 armor, meaning that these Spellbreakers are not dealing that much damage. Alright, Spellbreaker is going to try and clean this up here, as Blue now has a very large advantage going into this late game. What item was left behind? A Potion of Greater Healing. Alright, and still some very high level creep camps to possibly clear. Do the Raiders actually have... do they have Pillage? That is a good question there. No, they do not have Pillage at this point. Spellbreakers will go ahead and take that out. Alright, we are seeing some clearing out of the destructible rocks in order to get to even more and more creep camps. We see level 4 now on that Paladin. That is going to be absolutely huge. Archmage is now out as well. Level 2 Brilliance Aura, meaning there's going to be a lot of healing coming in on from the Shadow Hunter and also from that Paladin. Scroll of Healing also on that Paladin. Once more, Archmage also picking up a Staff of Sanctuary to save these very expensive Knights. Knights do have level 1 armor upgrades, not getting any additional armor upgrades at all, as we are seeing at 57 supply, and that is not actually a good place to be. Blade Master now running and following the Blade Master here. What is going to be happening next? It looks as though we're going to have a large engagement here in just a moment. Level 4 on that Archmage, almost level 5. That's going to be a very difficult Archmage to actually take out with that Potion of Greater Healing, as the Knights are now coming into position. Alright, is the Paladin going to be able to Holy Light this army and keep it alive? 985 hit points. Both sides are ready to fight out here in just a second. No priest in this army to actually keep these Knights up. And here we go. There's the Ensnare, and here is that next engagement. Spirit Link has been cast. Both sides now battling it out. The Blade Master is Spirit Linked, taking a little bit of damage. Is it going to get slowed? No, it's not going to get slowed, as the mortar team's actually causing a little bit of splash damage to their own units. All right. Both sides now fighting it out. Siege tanks, or siege, these Knights and these siege units, these mortar teams now trying to push forward, and this may be a very bad engagement for the Blue. There are simply so many Knights here going after the very vulnerable Voodoo Lounge first, and there it goes. Alright, but that did put him a little bit out of position, but Disenchant quickly taking down those 2 water elementals there. Alright, focusing on that focus on those Spirit Walkers. Meanwhile, Blizzard and Flame Strike onto a lot of the mortar teams. Archmage, Blood Mage tries to finish them off, unable to do so, and the line has just completely been destroyed. Archmage now going up against the Blade Master. Blade Master trying to back away. So much fighting going on, as we now see another Flame Strike. Alright, both sides taking a lot of damage here. There is a healing wave. There is another Blizzard hitting across multiple units there. A lot of damage is being dealt as Siphon Mana off of that Shadow Hunter again. That Blood Mage could get off another Flame Strike here in just a second. More mortar teams, and more of those mortar teams are getting taken down. Glass cannons definitely, as we now see more Flame Strike being brought back in as well. So far, it looks as though the Spellbreaker army is going to be coming out ahead just because of that magic immunity, but there are still a couple of Knights here. Are the Knights going to be able to do enough? Alright, what's going to be happening next? Damage is being dealt, and the units are on the run on both sides. The Spellbreakers getting low on hit points. No scrolls of healing, as the Shadow Hunter is unable to get off a healing wave, as another Siphon Mana going into the Shadow Hunter. The Shadow Hunter now healing back up all of these Spellbreakers. As I mentioned, the Spellbreakers need to stay alive, but they do not go up against the Knights well. The Knights have a lot of hit points, meaning that Blizzard and Flame Strike is not going to be that effective against them. Alright, the Blood Mage actually taking a lot of damage there. There is the Flames, or the Blizzard, but the Blizzard only hitting a couple units there, as the Grunt now trying to traverse through a sea of yellow units. That's going to be a bad place for it, getting caught in a very bad position. Alright, both sides still fighting. Oh, that is a good Blizzard there. Flame Strike coming in. Knights and a whole bunch of more units are going to get taken down. You can see low hit point Knights in the backfield. Are they going to stay alive? The Paladin sitting at level 4 and now getting all of his mana siphoned before throwing up that Divine Shield. Blood Mage now looking to get more mana into that Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter, oh, is it going to be able to save the Blade Master? That's going to be the key. Yes, gets off the Hex. Is that going to be enough? Oh, there's a Holy Light. Siphon mana. Now not enough for us. A Windwalk as it is able to get away. All right, both sides still fighting here. You can see chasing on one side, chasing on the other as the Blade Master may be able to get off the final hits. There is the Ensnare, and there is that damage. Oh, Blade Master. Oh, there's the Hex. And is it going to fall? Yes, it does. Level 4 Blade Master falls. Both sides still fighting. It looks as though blue is now in a bit of trouble, but in comes some more Blizzard and no Flame Strike, though, as the Paladin has been able to stay up on mana, now utilizing the Speed Scroll in order to get away, and I believe this will be just enough. Of Voodoo Loungers placed up right there. Fragmentation Shards perhaps causing the problems for all of these Spellbreakers to stay alive. So far, one Staff of Sanctuary Knight, more mortar teams being added, and we are going into another fight. No one actually coming out distinctively on top in that battle. Blood Mage now stealing perhaps a little bit more Spirit Link. Too bad they can't use it themselves, as we are now seeing the Spellbreakers slowly inch their way forward. Blade Master taking a lot of damage, and are we seeing a Flame Strike? No, we are just seeing Blizzard cast across so many mortar teams. Archmage now backing off. No real tanky units up in the front. Those Spellbreakers actually getting torn apart by the Grunts and the Knights, as the Blade Master once again leads the charge. All right, more units off over here. Gonna finish off this one particular Voodoo Lounge. A little bit of a stalemate here, as the Spellbreakers are now pushing forward again. All right, Water Elemental trying to slither away. Is it going to be able to do so? I don't believe so, and I believe that's understood, as we now see another Ensnare come down. Level 5 on the Shadow Hunter. This is going to be huge, as another Knight is going to fall. Is it going to give another hero level? No, it is not. As the Knight falls at level 4, or a level 4, or a 4 food supply. Blood Mage now sitting at level 3. Both sides are getting ready to fight here. You can see mortar teams are in the back. Here comes another counter wave. I have never seen a 2v2 game with so many back and forth gaining and losses of momentum. Mortar teams now quickly coming. You can see how many mortar teams are there, over a half dozen at this point, making it very difficult for these Spellbreakers to really do any damage. The mortar teams, are they upgraded? No, they are not. With that many upgrades, I wonder why. Why not? And also, a key thing to note, both sides are out of gold. The gold mines have been completely mined out, and the only gold mines that are available are actually in a very forward position. That means that you'd actually have to try and defend it. Oh, the Sentry Ward, whose is that? I don't quite know, but I don't believe it's the yellow teams. It's got to be the blues, as we are now inching their way forward against Spellbreakers. Where's that Blade Master going to be traveling to? Now wandering off to the north again. All right, no real beefy tanky units coming in from DPS Cool, meaning that these Spellbreakers will have to really rely on the Flame Strikes and Blizzards to really stop these Grunts and Knights from getting to those Spellbreakers. All right, one Peasant quickly going to get taken down. We can see some priests are off over here. What's going to be happening next? Blade Master now charging in forward. No True Sight here, as the Blade Master going to pick off some fleeing Peasants. Down goes that Peasant there. A little bit of mana feedback damage, as the units are now just simply trying to run away. Only a couple locations left in order to creep, and now what are we gonna have here? All right, in comes the engagement. That is not a good engagement. Knights now looking to make their way forward. Militia are now being brought over, and now in comes the yellow team. Yellow team once again pushing out once more. Peasants with actually bags of gold on their back, trying to reach back home. Will they be able to do exactly that? A little bit of long distance mining coming in. So far, the Blade Master quickly takes down, and now another bad engagement there. I cannot believe that the Blade Master actually revealed itself. There's a healing wave, but where is the rest of the units? The rest of the units are off over here, and they're not doing anything at all. They need to back off, regroup. The Blade Master is coming off over here. There is a whole bunch of mortar teams in the back. What is going to be happening? Perhaps a Flame Strike coming in. And wow, the yellow team is just pushing so effectively, as now we finally see Blizzard being cast across all these units. Oh wow, here's a Speed Scroll. This could be a very, very bad flank for yellow. Yellow does have a lot of mortar teams in the back, though, as we are seeing just Blizzard raining down from the sky. Flame Strike now coming in, and so many mortar teams getting taken down there. That was a horrible loss, as the Spellbreakers now focusing down more units. All right, here comes another blizzard, and it looks as though many of these peons are just trying to share some of that damage. This is not looking good. Grunts are going to fall. Level 4 Archmage of Yellow has fallen. Blue now continuing to fight. More AoE spell damage coming across here. So much damage is being dealt. Mortar teams now continuing to just launch up attacks as the blue team looks like they are coming out ahead. Blue with that beautiful engagement, utilizing the tavern and the trees as part of a wall, had a beautiful flank and just accepted the yellow team. Once they were all just piled up in that center, flame strikes and blizzard ate through them very quickly. The mortar teams couldn't actually splash up all of those units, and the blue team, it looks like they will be coming out ahead, but I don't know how many times I've said it this game and then actually been wrong. All right, Paladin is sitting at level 4. Is it going to be able to? No, it is not going to be able to heal anything else. It is currently getting hexed. Is there enough for a healing wave? Yes, there is, and there's the Divine Shield to stay alive just a little bit longer. Spellbreaker's now trying to come back around. All right, who is coming out ahead here? I can't tell who these serpent wards belong to, as we are still fighting it up. Okay, backing off again. Blade Master, Spellbreakers now looking to come in. Are they going to be able to get the damage off? Shadowhunter at level 4. The yellow team has lost their Shadowhunter. Blood Mage still siphoning the mana into that Shadowhunter, so the Shadowhunter has plenty. Now waiting for the Divine Shield to end. If it ends, you can expect a Hex, and there it is. And that may just be all she wrote for that Paladin. Paladin goes down at level 4, and yes, the blue team now definitely has the advantage. No resurrection taking place, down to 10 over 66 supply, 11 over 60, 30 over 40, 38 over 60. Blue team now with a serious advantage. It will just be in the final few moments, as long as they do not make any terrible mistakes here, should be able to take this game. And there, one of the players has left, and there is the game. So yes, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 3.